Imagine this. You're scrolling through Facebook Marketplace, looking for a good deal. Suddenly, you stumble upon something that sends chills down your spine. Welcome to Scarier Things, where we dive into the most disturbing and true horror stories from the seemingly innocent world of online shopping. In today's episode, we're bringing you horrifying true Facebook Marketplace horror stories. These are not just your average scary stories. These are true scary stories that will make you think twice before clicking that interested button. Stay tuned, if you dare. First story. In the realm of true scary stories, this one is particularly disturbing. When I transitioned from my parents' home to my own flat, I found myself burdened with an excess of belongings. I had always been wary of Craigslist, its reputation tainted by scary true stories I had heard. So I turned to Facebook Marketplace to sell items that were surplus to my needs and my father wanted out of his house. Among these items was my weight set, listed for $340, a fair price in my opinion. Despite my expectations, the weight set didn't attract much attention. A few inquiries trickled in, but none materialized into a sale. That was until Joe, a man with a grainy profile picture of him holding a fish, expressed interest. His account was private, revealing only that we had 3 mutual friends, all females from my town. Recognizing his name, I assumed he was an acquaintance who had dated a friend of mine. Our conversation proceeded smoothly. He agreed to the price without haggling and arranged to pick up the weight set late in the evening after work. However, when I tried to engage in friendly banter, his responses became delayed and odd. Despite this, we exchanged addresses and phone numbers. As the agreed time approached, I waited for his arrival. When he texted me to come out, I saw a dark car parked on the street from my window. His refusal to help with the weights and his strange texts raised my suspicions. I reached out to our mutual friends and discovered that Joe's account was a fake. In the realm of true horror stories, what happened next was truly chilling. The car remained outside my apartment, and I spotted a man hiding in the bushes. When the car honked, the man dashed towards it, and they sped off. This true crime scenario left me in a state of fear, not only for what I had narrowly escaped, but also because these people now knew where I lived. The fake Facebook profile was soon deleted, and the real Joe confirmed he had nothing to do with it. However, the true stalker story didn't end there. Days later, I received a threatening text, warning me to watch my back. Despite reporting this to the police, it seemed to be a low priority for them. This scary story has left me living in constant fear since moving into my new apartment. I always check outside my windows before leaving, especially at night. This is a true horror story that serves as a reminder of the disturbing realities of our world. Second story. In the annals of true horror stories, there's a disturbing tale that unfolded in 2018. It's one of those scary true stories that you might stumble upon on Reddit, filled with chilling scares and a true stalker. This is a true crime story that could have been captured on a dash cam. I had an old pinball machine from my childhood that I decided to sell. It wasn't a high-end arcade machine, but it was worth a couple of $100s. The machine had been gathering dust in my parents' attic for years. I decided to sell it while my family was away on a trip. I listed it on Facebook Marketplace for $200. A person named Jasmine, with no profile picture, expressed interest in the pinball machine and offered $175. We agreed on a time for her to come and pick it up. However, she didn't show up at the agreed time. She kept messaging me, saying she would be there soon. It was getting late, and I had work the next day. I asked her if she could be there by 11 at the latest. She said 11:30. I suggested we do this the next day, but she insisted she was already on her way. At 11:45, she finally messaged me that she was here. I went to the front door and saw a car outside. To my surprise, all 4 doors of the car opened, and 4 people stepped out, 1 woman and 3 men. I messaged Jasmine, asking if she was with other people. She didn't respond to my messages anymore. As the 4 people approached my door, I kept the storm door locked. These 3 guys looked quite big, and all 4 of these people looked like trouble. When they got close enough, I asked if she was Jasmine. She confirmed she was and tried to open the door, yelling when she found it was locked. I decided to shut the front door at this point. I heard their voices yelling outside for a while, and the doorbell ringing. I heard one or maybe even multiple guys yelling obscenities and insults at me through the 2 doors. I realized this whole thing was a terrible idea when I heard their voices laughing and yelling on the front stoop for about 10 minutes after I shut the door. I looked out of my little brother's bedroom window upstairs, which is directly above the driveway, and saw one of the guys urinating in the empty driveway. The woman yelled something directed at me as they finally started to walk away, but I didn't hear what it was. I was relieved when they drove away, and I went upstairs to go to sleep. A couple of hours after climbing into bed, I heard a crash from downstairs. It was unmistakably the sound of a window being shattered. I sprang up and made sure the bedroom door was locked. I quietly got out of bed and tiptoed to the door. I had already locked it. I went back to my bed and had my phone in hand, ready to call 911. I was waiting until I heard any other sounds before dialing. Eventually, I heard the sound I needed to hear. Footsteps rapidly coming upstairs. I dialed 911. I was literally under my bed as I listened to people ransacking the house. In reality, they were in and out in less than 5 minutes, way before the police actually showed up. The backyard window was shattered. Things were stolen from just about each room. Ironically, the pinball machine wasn't taken. What happened from there was I got a police report number. I made an appointment to see a couple of detectives at the police station and shared with them all the details I had, including the Facebook account of Jasmine. I fabricated the story, saying someone in the house threatened me. My reasoning for this was I felt that this case would actually be taken seriously if I claimed I was threatened. To my surprise, they did take this seriously. The detectives apparently gathered the necessary data of the Facebook account in question to track this Jasmine girl who lived a few towns over in a less than desirable area. And with a search warrant, they searched her house and found multiple belongings stolen from my parents' house. She ratted out the 3 men who accompanied her, and they were all charged with burglary. I think most of the stuff that was stolen was recovered. I'm sure there were some things that I wasn't aware of that were stolen that were never returned. But to this day, it hasn't come up, so it's fine. I think by me claiming I was verbally threatened may have definitely helped make the detectives take this more seriously. But I could be wrong. My family was of course livid at first, but came to be understanding about it in the end. This true horror story is a disturbing reminder of how a simple transaction can turn into a true crime incident involving a true stalker. It's one of those scary true stories that serve as a chilling scare and a cautionary tale. Third story. In the realm of true horror stories, there's a disturbing tale that I'd like to share. It's one of those scary true stories that you might find on Reddit, filled with chilling scares and a true stalker. This is a true crime story that unfolded on a dash cam. Once upon a time, I was on the hunt for a new phone, specifically an iPhone 7, on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. I stumbled upon a promising ad posted by a man named Melvin. The deal seemed too good to be true. A brand new iPhone for around $300. Melvin even sent me a video of the sealed box and assured me it was factory unlocked. However, things took a turn when Melvin, who was supposed to be close by, informed me that he had traveled an hour north. Despite the inconvenience, I decided to pursue the deal, given its attractiveness. I convinced my friend Martina to accompany me on this adventure, promising her a meal in return. Melvin suggested meeting at a police precinct parking lot, an hour away, to avoid scams. This made me feel more confident about the deal. Martina and I set off on our journey on a Friday night, planning to enjoy the rest of the evening after the deal. As we neared the precinct, we found ourselves in a secluded area, surrounded by woods. The precinct's parking lot was deserted, except for a few police cars. Unable to spot Melvin's black Ultima, I decided to call him. He informed me that his car had broken down on a random road, surrounded by woods, and asked if I could help him jump-start his car. Martina was visibly disturbed by this development and insisted that we head home. However, I decided to drive past the location Melvin had shared. As we approached, we spotted a black car, but there was no sign of anyone inside or outside the car. This was one of those scary stories turning into reality. We drove past the car, ignoring Melvin's incessant calls and texts. We decided to stop at a nearby diner for some food. It was a quiet place, with only a few patrons. As we were sipping our coffee, a man in a navy blue hoodie walked in and sat at the counter. He kept glancing at our table, and I recognized his voice when he thanked the waitress. It was Melvin. We quickly paid our bill and left the diner. As we were leaving, we noticed Melvin getting up and heading towards the door. We also spotted a black car in the parking lot, similar to the one we had seen earlier. I sped away, leaving Melvin behind. However, our ordeal wasn't over. As we were driving on the highway, a low tire pressure light came on. I pulled over and found that our tire had been slashed. I had to replace the tire with the spare, which took about 15 minutes. This true horror story ended with Martina and me having dinner that night, recounting our scary true story. It was a disturbing reminder of how close we had come to walking into a trap. This true crime incident is now a scary story that we often share, a chilling scare from our past.